Well, it is Friday. Happy Friday, November 11th. And let me just pause right here. And if my wife happens to see this video, let me right now wish her a very happy birthday. It is November the 11th. Happy Veterans Day as well to all of our veterans. Now, this question today comes from Karen. Karen attends the Chicken Church in Ohio. Now, that's the church I used to be a youth pastor at. It was called the Chicken Church because we put a big, huge 10, 12-foot fiberglass chicken in the front yard every single year at Bible school time, and everyone in the area knew it as the Chicken Church. Now, here's her question. She said, hey, who is the rider on the white horse in Revelation chapter 6? So let me read Revelation 6, 1 and 2. This is the beginning of what the Bible calls the tribulation period, a coming 7-year period when God will judge the world for their sin and unbelief. And it begins with these 4 judgments symbolized by these 4 horsemen. Here's what it says. Then I saw when the Lamb broke one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying as with a voice of thunder, "Come." I looked, and behold, there was a white horse. That's the first one. And he who sat on that horse had a bow, and a crown was given to him. And he went out conquering and to conquer. And that's what begins that 7-year tribulation. That's what this chapter in Revelation is all about. It's the 7 seal judgments of Revelation, 7 specific judgments. Now, again, the tribulation is a 7-year period on earth when God judges man for their sin and their unbelief. Now, I believe it happens after the rapture of the church. I don't believe we'll go through the tribulation as Christians. I believe God raptures us out first. But this is that 7-year tribulation. Now, the first 4 judgments are visualized as riders on different color horses. You got a white horse. We'll talk about that in a second. Then comes a red horse, and that horse represents war. Then comes a black horse, and that horse represents famine. And then comes a pale horse, and that horse represents death. Now, let's speak specifically to Karen's question, which is who's the rider on the white horse? And I believe the rider on the white horse, this is symbolic of the coming Antichrist, the one world ruler who will be empowered by Satan. Now, he's on a white horse because that mimics Christ. He's a false Christ. Christ will come back at the second coming on a white horse. So what does the Antichrist do? He comes on a white horse. Notice he's carrying a bow, but he has no arrows. Can't do a lot of damage that way, right? Well, that's because when he first comes on the scene, his weapon is to bring a false peace. That's why there's no arrows, just a bow. Because you see, he's going to do something no world ruler's been able to do. He's going to bring real peace to Israel. They're going to sign a peace treaty. It's going to be a 7-year treaty. But we know this. It also says that he comes to conquer. Because ultimately, you know what he's going to do? Halfway through that peace treaty, 3.5 years into the tribulation, he's going to break the treaty. He's going to commit a horrific act called in the Bible the abomination of desolation. And this will begin a slew of judgments that will end with the second coming of Jesus Christ. So who's the rider on the white horse? I believe it's symbolic of the coming Antichrist. Now, friend, listen, you don't have to fear any of that as long as you put your faith in Jesus. And speaking of that, I hope you're planning to be in church this Sunday. If you don't have your own church, watch us live online. Go to myefree.org, click on Watch Live, 9 o'clock or 10:30. Have a great weekend. We'll answer another question come Monday morning.